Welcome back. In this section, we'll be covering unified threat management to help secure cloud-based networking solutions, as well as email and web security to help protect the users in an organization. The Unified Threat Management Appliance provides security services for Meraki deployment. And just a little bit of refresher about Meraki, it is a cloud-based networking solution with zero-touch deployment. So it basically is most useful for organizations that might have a lot of distributed sites where they might not have on-site IT staff. Instead, administration can be centrally configured from the cloud, and then the branch devices just pull down their configurations. The Unified Threat Management Appliance, or MX series, combines a number of security services into one device. It provides a secure VPN from the branch site back to the Meraki cloud. Other security services include Next-Gen Firewall to set access policies, IPS to inspect for known threats, content filtering to block websites, application visibility and control to set access policies for specific applications, and most recently, AMP and ThreatGrid to help protect the users in a Meraki deployment from unknown malware. The Meraki UTM appliance can also integrate with Umbrella and StealthWatch, other Cisco security solutions. The MX series comes in a number of different deployment models, each designed to scale with an individual customer's requirements. One area that needs to be specifically protected is email traffic, both for threat protection on inbound email traffic, as well as being able to maintain compliance for outbound email traffic. Everyone uses email, and it's actually the #1 threat vector that hackers use because it's so user-dependent. Is the user really paying attention when they open an attachment or click on a link? These attacks are crafted in a more sophisticated way to get the user to do just that. Open the attachment or click on the link. The hacker is now researching their target on social media, so when the email comes in, it looks like it came from a safe source, like a family member or an old coworker. But when that link is clicked on, it can actually introduce malware into the system. This can then go quickly spread to other areas of the network, and that can result in potential data loss for the organization. That's why it's necessary to have mechanisms on the back end for organizations to secure both incoming email traffic to protect against threats, as well as to secure the data that leaves the environment through outgoing email. So Talos sees 35% of the world's email traffic, and all of this intelligence is then shared with the email security appliance. Threat protection analyzes the email before it gets to the user's inbox. It can use different types of information, such as using the sender's reputation to filter out any email that's been sent from known malicious domains. It can also scan that email for malicious content or links to be able to protect against spam and viruses. And with AMP integration, now the organization can track suspicious emails. They can attain the scope of an outbreak, as well as be able to remediate quickly. And for outbound email, data loss prevention policies can be implemented to prevent confidential data from leaving the environment by either quarantining that email or notifying the user. And for data that can leave the environment, but it's sensitive, so it needs to be sent in a secure way, well then we can encrypt the email as it leaves the environment, so only the recipient will be able to read it. Email security can be deployed in a number of ways. There are options for on-premise deployments for a physical or virtual appliance. There's also a cloud option that delivers email security as a service, as well as a hybrid option that combines both on-premise and cloud. Another area that needs to be specifically protected is web traffic. Web is actually the second most prevalent attack vector that hackers use. And the reason why web traffic is so attractive to hackers is that it presents a very large attack surface. Everyone uses the web, and there's a lot of web vulnerabilities that a hacker can exploit. Talos sees over 17 billion web filtering blocks per day. That's more blocks than Google sees web searches. So as you can see by the scale of all these foiled attacks, web traffic is an area that needs to be protected. Now there's a number of challenges and concerns that an organization faces when trying to secure web traffic. The first is the rise in malware that results from interacting with malicious content that might be hosted on these sites, even legitimate ones. The organization must also be able to report on the web usage of its users in order to make sure that we're maintaining employee productivity. So for example, restricting whether they can access Facebook or what they can do on it. So can they like something? Can they post something? And finally, the organization must also be able to protect against potential data loss. So if an employee is uploading confidential information to a website hosted outside the corporate environment. Cisco Web Security can help with protecting web traffic, both through inspection and from a control perspective. Web security can help and stop users from accessing malicious websites by either filtering on reputation or by using dynamic content analysis, which basically scans that web page to see if there's any malicious content hosted on it. And with AMP integration, web security can keep track of every file that's downloaded, just in case it turns out to be malicious later. And to help with web usage policies, we can basically implement specific time quotas or bandwidth quotas and basically specify what sites a user can access, what they can do on them, and for how long. So for example, set a time quota for how long someone can be on Twitter, or a bandwidth quota for how many videos somebody can watch on Facebook. Web security can also be deployed in a number of ways. There are options for both physical and virtual appliances to meet a customer's different requirements. This concludes this section on Unified Threat Management, email, and web security.